So we're going to be going over number 3 of AMT 3 when we're looking at Colorado academic standards, focusing on Standard 1, number sense properties and operations. And we're going to look at the grade level expectations and evidence outcomes and list the grade level and evidence outcomes for these following details. So we're going to go ahead and start with this first one, algorithms based on place values such as partial products. So I just want to go ahead and give a little disclaimer that I did not include kindergarten in this research. I began looking at kindergarten when I first started looking at the standards, and it didn't really seem like we were really dealing with any place value yet, but rather just understanding numbers and counting and the basics into understanding math. So I went ahead and just included first grade through fifth grade. So, just some background knowledge here. We do start this understand place value in first grade. However, we're not really dealing with multiplication yet. We're dealing more with understanding tens and ones and comparing two-digit numbers. So, not really quite in multiplication in first grade. When we move into second grade, we're still working with these place value and understanding thousands and integrating more place values for comprehension, but still not quite getting into multiplication yet. Third grade seems to be the year that we start our education and lesson planning and all that good stuff on multiplication. When we click on this first thing here, this number and operations in base 10, use place value understanding and properties of operations to perform multi-digit arithmetic. We're going to go ahead and expand that, and you'll see here that we're going to be able to fluently add and subtract within 1,000 using strategies and algorithms based on place value. We're also going to be multiplying one-digit whole numbers. So this is when we're getting into the multiplication, and we're using strategies based on place value and property of operations. So this seems to be third grade is when we start getting into the place value aspect of using those strategies in multiplication. For the second detail here, we're looking for standard algorithm for multiplication. So if we look into fourth grade here, this is when they're supposed to be becoming more, I'm so sorry, the second one here, the numbers in operation in base 10, we are fluently adding and subtracting multi-digit using standard algorithm, but not necessarily fluent with standard algorithm and multiplication yet. That comes in fifth grade. So we see this right here, fluently multiply multi-digit whole numbers using standard algorithm. So that's going to be where we find this second detail. It's going to be really covered in fifth grade is when we're expecting fluency in this. And then lastly, multiplication fact recall. Within all the research that I've done looking throughout this website, I haven't been able to find anything that specifically said multiplication fact recall. My assumption, however, is that that would probably be expected in fifth grade. If we're expecting students to be able to fluently multiply multi-digit numbers with standard algorithm, then these students would probably need a good knowledge basis of their multiplication facts and recalling that knowledge so that they can fluently do all the multiplication that they need to do. I think that we'd probably begin that instruction starting in fourth grade when we're starting to get a little bit more in depth with multiplication, but I definitely think that this multiplication fact recall we'd expect fluency in fifth grade. But yeah, that is just these evidence outcomes and what I found throughout my research for the Colorado academic standards.